Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Would I survive a zombie apocalypse?
No.
Would you survive a zombie apocalypse?
No.
Which of us would last longer?
Probably me, because I would trip you as I ran away.
Okay. All this and more on Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason. What is wrong with you?
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and I made him laugh just before the cameras turned back on for us. This week, we're reviewing a little-known film. It was it barely had a release. No. As our fourth of our franchises we had yet to start, we decided to review Zombieland, a movie that we basically put off because he enjoyed it, and having seen Shaun of the Dead, I had not. Because I was like, hey, I remember that joke before. For most of the jokes.
Yeah, but nobody on this had red in their shirt, so, you know.
Well, you're right. They had less of the good jokes. No, but I will review this and be fair to it. It's kind of like the movie Casino gets a bad rap as
because
not
it
being
came
as
out
good as
like second, right
after.
Goodfellas.
Okay, well, if you're going to interrupt, you got to say what I was going to say, or you're like just wasting time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's the premise: there are zombies
Everywhere.
all the way across the land, as it were.
Right.
And the only way to, well, basically you have to kill them and hide and sleep and eat when you can and try not to die. And that is now your life. I mean, that's basically the premise.
And then a bunch of people who that's their life meet.
And not really get along
At all. Really, I mean...
But become a family. It's so sweet. Anyway.
Depends
Anything
on
else?
what family you have, but... I mean, basically, you're right. It's a zombie movie. There's zombies everywhere. People have to kill zombies. They have to not die.
That's basically the premise of all zombie movies. So why don't we roll the trailer and let them see what we're talking about if they haven't seen this.
Planet Earth, home to over 6 billion people. Today, our very existence is threatened by epidemics, climate change, and dwindling resources. But those are the least of our problems. Welcome to Zombieland.
My mother always told me, someday you'll be good at something. I mean, I don't think she could have guessed that something would be zombie killing. What do you think? Zombie kill of the week?
Close, but no cigar. Zombie Kill of the Week went to Miss Cynthia Knickerbocker.
Gotta enjoy the little things. Well, these fellas really let themselves go.
Zombieland.
You guys want some Purell?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Basically, what it said was there's zombies and you have to try to survive.
It's their world, not ours anymore.
Basically, like that's it's like this is the
It's an
land.
easy plot.
These are the zombies. This is Zombieland. Like,
Dun, dun, dun.
all right. Now, before we get into the behind the scenes information that we do every week, we have to explain what we're really here for.
Yes.
See, still to this day, people come up to me and go, Craig. And I go, what? Because I never know what it's about.
Who are you?
And they're like, do you do that show because you so love horror movies?
And while it is true that we do love horror movies, don't get us wrong.
I said, no. It is because I am kind of a prostitute, but just for my opinion, not for my body.
So would that make,
'cause
like-
no one wants that.
Colin, are you our pimp?
Sure. He's in there going, shut up, guys. Don't drag me into every joke. No, we're here to sell products, and we just have to have a framework for that.
Yeah.
And this week, the actual things that truly exist that you can actually buy are... Gory Story Time is brought to you by Zomburgers, the zombie-themed fast food restaurant. At Zomburgers, we give you all the horror you can handle while you eat. Try our classic Romero Burger, an all-beef flavored patty with lettuce, tomato, and onion. Or the Sean Burger. It's basically the same as the Romero, but it's rare, so it's a little red, and there's a little too much cheese. All meals are served with Fido fries, a Zom beverage, and a Twinkie.
And by Across the Country in 30 Movies. Plan your next vacation with Across the Country in 30 Movies. We show you the way to get from coast to coast following the paths taken in your favorite films. Relive road trips like the ones in National Lampoon's Vacation. Enjoy the scenery of Are We There Yet? And flee to Mexico with the Firefly family. Across the Country in 30 days. Grab your copy
Across the Country in 30 movies.
Oh, in 30 movies. Grab your copy today and head out tomorrow.
All right. Anyway, all right. Now that real thing that's not just a bit is over,
Yeah.
let's get into the behind-the-scenes information, or what Jason likes to call the meat and beef of the show.
Or as I like to call, the meat and beef of the show.
All right. You want to go first? You want me
Sure.
to? All right, go ahead.
The script for Zombieland, originally a TV pilot, was heavily revised to become a feature film.
Woody Harrelson was arrested for marijuana possession during filming, which delayed shooting for a day. Interesting, considering how many states are now legal to have that.
Considering there are no governments anymore, it's weird that he would have been arrested for it.
All right.
Abigail Breslin and Woody Harrelson's conversation in the Hummer scene about Hannah Montana was ad-libbed.
The puppy that Woody Harrelson is seen playing with in a flashback is actually Abigail Breslin's dog.
The Zombie Kill of the Week was left over from the script's origin as a TV pilot. Every week, a weekly episode would have a Zombie Kill of the Week performed by characters on the show.
Patrick Swayze was offered a cameo as a zombie before his cancer diagnosis prevented him from doing it. His scene would have parodied other Swayze movies like Ghost and Dirty Dancing.
Zombie cameo roles were also offered to Joe Pesci, Mark Hamill, Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Bacon, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Matthew McConaughey.
The supermarket scene, a lot of people believe was filmed in a real supermarket, was not. It was filmed on a set. The stuff behind the glass refrigerator doors were just printed on paper because it was cheaper to build an entire supermarket and all the shelving and put the stuff on the shelves than it was to rent out a supermarket and pay for the broken items buying all the stuff on the shelves, which is bad.
That's ridiculous. It was revealed in the DVD commentary that Emma Stone was originally cast to play the role of 406.
Director Ruben Fleischer has said he was inspired to make Zombieland after watching Shaun of the Dead. That's like saying, I was inspired to film a show called The Office after watching a show called The Office.
Well, that also happened. Originally titled Another Day in Zombieland, but the studio feared people would think it was a sequel.
Considering people turned their nose up at 1/3 pound burgers because they thought they were smaller than quarter pounders, I believe it. Say it's very likely. Shortly after filming concluded in 2009, Woody Harrelson attacked a TMZ reporter at LaGuardia Airport in New York City after arriving from LA. In a CNN interview about the incident, Harrelson said, "I then flew to New York, still very much in character, with my daughter at the airport. I was startled by a paparazzo who I quite understandably mistook for a zombie."
Woody Harrelson actually plays the banjo in the supermarket scene. Harrelson took the time before and during production to learn how to play the instrument rather than use a dubbed-in banjo.
The amusement park scenes were filmed at Wild Adventures theme park in Valdosta, Georgia.
Tallahassee paints a 3 on his cars as a reference to Dale Earnhardt. Both cars that Tallahassee drove were based on the color schemes of Earnhardt's cars.
The screenplay for this film was featured in the 2007 Blacklist, which is a list of the most liked unmade scripts of the year.
Bill Murray did not originally have any lines after he is shot by Columbus. The Garfield line was improvised by Murray.
In the script, the only name that remained the same was Wichita. Columbus was originally Flagstaff, Tallahassee was originally Albuquerque, and Little Rock was originally Stillwater.
In Bill Murray's mansion, Woody Harrelson's character mentions that he's a big fan of all his movies. Harrelson starred in Kingpin with Murray.
And unlike most zombie films, Zombieland is quite explicit about what caused the zombie infestation. Columbus mentions that the first patient ate an infected hamburger, so the source would be a pathogen like a virus, people only becoming zombies after contact with other zombies, so it's not airborne.
Yeah. And Rotten Tomatoes
Is
exists.
a thing. It does.
It does.
What they claim to do...
And did well this time.
Well, no. Anyway, what they do is they take all the professional critics' numbers...
Yeah.
Or all their reviews, and they just divvy them up into positive or negative. And then they tell you the percentage of the whole that is positive.
Right.
So when people get mad about low rated, it's like, no, that just means a low percentage of people that their job is to review movies enjoyed it.
Yes.
And the critics have it at
89%.
Pretty good for a comedy and a horror. Now, the people also can go on the website and say if they liked or didn't like, and they give a percentage of that. And the percentage there was 86%. Usually for horror and comedy, the people have it higher. In this case, they're very close, and it's just slightly less.
Yeah.
I'm assuming because people had seen Shaun of the Dead, which actually did the comedy and the horror perfectly.
Yeah.
This didn't.
And
there was none of the traditional fear stuff in Zombieland.
No, it was a comedy that took place in the world of a horror movie.
But maybe, even though the guy was inspired, this is just my guess, he realized that was done so well, we're just going to do the comedy version. we'll have the gross out, the blood and stuff like that, but we're
it's
not going to
for
go
laughs.
for the actual fear. Because if we do that, it's not really going to work as well. You know, it's kind of like I can do certain things, but then I see people that are masters at it, and I go, well, I certainly can't do that.
Shaun of the Dead was the master of comedy zombie movies.
Absolutely. That doesn't mean don't watch the others. It just means...
Watch them before Shaun of the Dead,
Well,
I suppose.
no. Shaun of the Dead is so good. Watch that first. But anyway, on a scale... Oh, wait, no, we're not going to do that
Not
first.
that first.
No. Well,
So I said
know
89.
you love this movie.
Did you actually say?
I said 86.
Okay.
Now, I know you love this film.
I do.
All right. So, what is your least favorite?
My least favorite thing in this movie actually is a new thing with the recent viewing of this.
What's that?
The disgustingly CGI blood in a handful of the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, it was awful. And so the scene in the supermarket, he hits a zombie with a baseball bat. The baseball bat and the blood coming out of its head are CG.
And obviously so. All right. I'm going to say, honestly, the thing that dragged it down for me is while the jokes were decent jokes, I can't say that there were many that were a surprise. They all seemed like A plus B equals C. 1 + 1 = 2. Like, it was...
Like, it had a setup and its delivery.
And the punchline was never a twist. It was always, well, that's
Exactly
where
the
you
thing
would...
you expect that joke
that's
to
where
do.
that joke leads. Which doesn't make it bad, but it certainly isn't
when
how
there
they...
are things out there that can surprise us still.
Again, Shaun of the Dead, on the other hand, like when they started decapitating zombies with a record,
With the
records
records.
as frisbees,
Oh, yeah.
like that was a new way to destroy them. You
That
know?
was great. That was great.
But enough about not this movie.
Right. We've done that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
Of course we did.
Okay. So
We
then
talked about how it was
what's-
3 genres and it hit them all perfectly because that one was also a romantic
And this
comedy.
also wanted to be that and then never stuck to it.
Sure. What was your favorite scene?
I mean, just for the special effects, even though I do not like the actress that played her. 406.
I'm going to agree with him here. Actually, it's a different reason for me. Yes, the girl who played 406, I just loved watching her get beat to death.
Well, okay.
No. Amber Heard played 406, and after everything that had happened about her, it brought an extra level of enjoyment watching him smash her head in.
Well,
It's a different reason.
I never knew that, like, I don't know, like, the special effects that were used in that, the practical stuff that was used in that scene was pretty dang good. And she did this weird, like, contortionist stuff where her bones were, like, moving the way that humans shouldn't. And
Yeah, well,
Hats off.
I enjoyed it because it was her. And prior to all that stuff, I probably would have picked a different thing to be my favorite. But if you support Johnny Depp and do not like Amber Heard, this has got a scene for you.
it does.
All right. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, and I'm not going to base this against
Shaun of the Dead.
in
Because
particular.
I can't even do that.
Well, it wouldn't be fair.
It wouldn't, because that movie is a 10. Like, I gave it a 10.
Right. Oh, I think I did too.
Right.
For a reason, by the way. I think it's more, if I had to compare it to all the other thousands of hours of zombie stuff
Horror
I've
comedy
seen,
or zombie
or
stuff.
horror comedy in general, it is above average in my opinion. So I'm not gonna, like, I know I always say, I don't really want to watch it. Like, I'm willing to give the second one a chance because maybe they
upped it. Maybe it's
like,
better.
I don't actually
Maybe there's
know.
something that'll
I know
surprise
you own
us.
it, so I just know I didn't really watch it because I was like, yeah,
Saw the first one.
saw Sean and it was way better. Like, but some sequels do get better. Who knows?
Some do.
So I'm gonna go first since you were a bigger fan. I'm gonna give it a 7.5, which, by the way, is more than he got on most of his report cards, and I was happy when he got a 70 anything.
Oh, yeah.
So understand, like...
This 75 you're giving it is like, that's a passing grade. That's
it's a decent movie. It's a fun watch. It's just, I went into it going, I saw a better one. And that's not fair.
It's not.
Well, I didn't think
For the
that
same
until after
reason-
the first time I watched it, to be fair. I was like, well, that was no Shaun of the Dead. I didn't go into it that way. I was actually hoping it would be.
High hopes.
Yeah.
But
well,
I'll give it an 8. I mean, it's definitely rewatchable. I've watched it multiple times. Some of the jokes get old, but
and
that's
like
going
I
to
said,
happen
a
with
lot
the
of the
comedy
jokes,
movie.
like if part of the issue for me is I'm so into comedy. I've written scripts that are funny. I've written jokes. I've written like us roasting each other. I know how the structure of writing a joke works. So when they start setting up a premise, my mind automatically jumps to where it's going to go.
And when it's actually that.
And when it only does that without any real surprises, it's like, huh.
But then you have
Like,
to
it
look at
would
it
have
from
been a
the eyes
surprise.
of a avid moviegoer. Just a regular human being
Right.
going to put their
And
ass
I-
in a
and-
seat.
right.
Like,
And I get that it's not bad for that. It's just, it's kind of like stand-up comedians rarely laugh at other stand-up comedy. They sit there and go, I wish I had written that. That's very good.
Right.
But, like, they know the formula. You know what I mean?
They know funny.
Not all of them.
Well.
Sebastian.
Comedian.
Oh, yeah. Well, he claims to be.
Okay, but comedian means funny, and he's not.
You would think.
Well,
Anyway,
don't watch him, if you picked up on who that was.
Anyway, so now, is there anything else you want to say before?
I
we
mean,
do the
watch
wrap?
it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. If you like zombies and you like comedy, it is both of those things.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
The special
And
effects.
there's a sequel now,
Yep, that's true.
which hopefully has better special effects.
You would hope. More money going into it, probably. So why don't we put up the stuff on the side and we can actually do that part now?
Yes. So you can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1082, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can like us on Facebook. And when I say like us, I mean Gory Storytime and Fact TV, the place that brings you Gory Storytime.
Yes. Go to fact8.com and watch a bunch of back episodes of this as well as many other shows.
And you can follow us on Twitter. X. I'm at Craig Jakes, just my name, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Jiggly Fernbrain.
He
And-
tweets things that I say. Yeah, you got one to
I got
tweet.
one.
He's got one that he was like, okay, that was good. We watched Field of Dreams and I was referencing it. That's all I will say. But follow him. It's I find it
I know
funny.
it's not even related, but go watch that.
Yeah, it'd be really hard to squeeze that one in here.
Ghosts.
Movies with ghosts that aren't scary. That's not what this show is.
Okay, so we do Ghost, we do Field of Dreams,
Ghost
Casper.
had a little bit of demonic stuff and like. Anyway, not the point.
Okay.
We did Casper, you weirdo.
Casper? Did we do Ghostbusters?
And that's Gory Storytime for this week.
I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig.
And Sweet Dreams.